Toto Wolff continues to cry about 2021, Mercedes finds a breakthrough for the W15 for the 100th time this season, and Vettel hints at F1 comeback. Let's get straight into today's latest news. Following the dramatic conclusion of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Toto Wolff, the team principal of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, has been quoted giving a scathing assessment of an individual he deemed totally unimportant. This remark is believed to be directed towards Michael Masi, the race director of the FIA, who was responsible for the decision-making that led to the events that unfolded during the title decider at Yas Marina. The controversial circumstances of the race have been widely discussed and dissected by fans, pundits, and experts alike, with many considering it a defining moment in the history of the sport. The race was ultimately won by Max Verstappen, who clinched his first-ever World Championship title, while Lewis Hamilton finished second. The pivotal moment of the race occurred when a late safety car was deployed, and only the lapped cars separated Verstappen and Hamilton on track, rather than all lapped cars being allowed to overtake the safety car. This decision put Verstappen in a hugely advantageous position as he had pitted for soft tires, while Hamilton had stayed out on used hard tires. As the race restarted with just one lap remaining, Verstappen made a daring move at the Turn 5 hairpin, which ultimately secured him the race victory and the World Championship title. These events have sparked a great deal of controversy and debate, with many questioning the decision-making of the FIA and the fairness of the outcome. In a recent interview, Lewis Hamilton was asked if he felt like he had been robbed during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix race. Mercedes' team principal, Toto Wolff, has also expressed his disappointment regarding the events that took place during the race. While Wolff did not mention Michael Masi, former FIA race director by name, his previous comments about Masi suggest that he is the one individual to which he is referring regarding the outcome of the race. In the recently released book The Formula, written by Joshua Robinson and Jonathan Clegg, Wolff expressed his views on the race and said, "When I think about it again, it's so unfair what happened to Lewis and the team that day, and that one individual didn't follow the rules and just let it happen. He is a totally unimportant person. He lives on the other side of the world and nobody is interested in him. He really was an utter pathological egomaniac." It's evident that Wolff believes that Masi's actions during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix were unfair and went against Mercedes, leading to their loss in the race. Toto Wolff, team principal of Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team, still feels a sense of injustice over the events that led to Lewis Hamilton losing the 2021 World Championship title to Max Verstappen. However, Wolff acknowledged that such moments of drama and glory are what make Formula One so captivating. He also paid tribute to Hamilton's incredible achievements, describing him as an 8-time title winner. Wolff's comments came as Mark Skaife, former Supercars champion and now chairman of the Supercars Commission in Australia, attended the last F1 weekend at Albert Park, where the popular series appeared on Formula One's support schedule. Despite the disappointment of the outcome, Wolff acknowledged that the race had left its mark on history and demonstrated the drama and excitement that makes Formula One so irresistible to its fans. Mercedes had a difficult start to the F1 2024 campaign, with their frustrations intensifying at the Australian Grand Prix, where neither Lewis Hamilton nor his teammate George Russell were able to see the checkered flag. Hamilton had to retire from the race due to engine failure, while Russell crashed in the closing stages while chasing Fernando Alonso. The team has used the time between rounds to focus on improving the W15, and they are hoping to bounce back from their Melbourne woes with a stronger showing in Japan. During the Q2 elimination, Hamilton expressed his disappointment with the inconsistency of the W15. He had finished within a tenth of Charles Leclerc's P1 time in the final practice session, but the car struggled to deliver strong performance at critical moments across the first 3 races. However, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has assured Hamilton that the team has been working tirelessly to improve the consistency of the W15 ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix. Wolff stated that the car has shown signs of strong performance on occasion, but they have struggled to deliver it consistently. Suzuka, the 4th stop on the F1 2024 calendar, is expected to be a different challenge compared to the circuits they have raced at so far. With its famously fast sweeps and low-speed content mixed with elevation changes, it will provide another opportunity for Mercedes to build on their learnings and the work undertaken since Australia. The Formula One Japanese Grand Prix is set to take place earlier this year, unlike the usual closing stages of the World Championship. However, the Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff believes that this change in schedule will not have a significant impact on the track conditions. Nevertheless, it is crucial to understand any differences that may arise due to the altered time of year. Although the timing of the event may have changed, one thing that remains constant is the unwavering support of the enthusiastic and passionate Japanese F1 fan base. Toto Wolff acknowledges the remarkable support from the Japanese fans and the fantastic atmosphere they create at Suzuka, and he is confident that the same excitement will be present at this year's event. Despite their struggles this season, Mercedes goes into the Japanese Grand Prix sitting P4 in the Constructors' Championship, trailing the leaders Red Bull by 71 points. As they look to close the gap, the team will have to navigate the challenges of the unique Suzuka circuit and overcome their competitors to secure a podium finish. Sebastian Vettel, the former Formula One world champion, has recently expressed his interest in returning to the sport. Despite retiring from Formula One in 2022 to spend more time with his family, Vettel has kept his passion for motorsports alive. He recently tested a high-end racing car with the Porsche Penske Le Mans team at Aragon Motorland in Spain. His experience reignited his interest in the sport, and he has not ruled out the possibility of returning to Formula One. Vettel's comeback to Formula One would undoubtedly be exciting news for motorsports fans. With many available seats on the F1 grid for the 2025 season, including Red Bull and Mercedes, Vettel could be genuinely tempted to come back to the sport. Although he acknowledges that it is a big commitment, Vettel is open to the idea of returning if he receives the right offer. In an interview with the Chris Moyles show on Radio X, Vettel stated that the better the car and team, the more exciting it would be to return to Formula One. He also emphasized that it would depend on the full package, as there are many other factors outside of driving activity that need to be considered. Vettel's commitment to his family is also an essential factor to consider, as he retired from the sport to spend more time with them. In conclusion, Vettel's potential return to Formula One would be a significant development for the sport. Fans eagerly await any updates on his future plans, and it remains to be seen whether he will return to the sport that he loves. In a recent interview, Ferrari driver Sebastian Vettel made an interesting comment about his age in comparison to some of his fellow drivers like Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. Despite being one of the more experienced drivers on the grid, Vettel feels that he is still relatively young in comparison to some of the drivers he has grown up with. Vettel stated that, "From an age point of view, I feel bloody young with all the guys that I was raised with still hanging around and signing big contracts, being around for longer." This comment sheds light on how Vettel views his career in relation to his peers. Despite competing in Formula One for over a decade, Vettel still sees himself as one of the younger drivers on the grid. Interestingly, Vettel also joked that his new role as an ambassador for the UK energy drink Purple will help him to stay fit and energized for years to come. He quipped, "It looks like I could have another 10 years in the sport. So I'm definitely ahead of them in terms of keeping fit and energized with the right drink in the bottle in case I return." Overall, Vettel's comments provide insight into the mindset of an experienced driver who is still very much committed to the sport and looking to extend his career for as long as possible. Sebastian Vettel, a former Formula One driver, has recently opened up about his decision to retire from the sport. Vettel, who is known to be a family man, has expressed that he wanted to spend more time at home with his wife and young children. He also shared that he is enjoying the slower pace of life after quitting F1. The German driver shared some insights about the amount of travel involved in his former profession. He calculated that he spent 1 month straight, which is about 30 days, in a plane every year due to F1 commitments alone. This does not include the time spent on simulator work, racing events, testing, and promotional activities. Although Vettel loved his work, he revealed that it was never as glamorous as it appeared from the outside. There were many engineering meetings, training sessions, and other boring aspects that went into making the sport happen. Vettel recently tested a hypercar, which is essentially a Le Mans car, and called the experience cool. However, he thinks that it would be a big ask for him to participate in Le Mans this year, despite Porsche having 2 unconfirmed seats available in their third car. Sebastian Vettel, the German racing driver, seems to be eagerly waiting to get back behind the wheel of a racing car. However, his family's influence on his decision-making process can't be ignored. When asked about it, He mentioned that while it is ultimately his decision to make, he also considers his family's opinion. He revealed that his children have already expressed their love for the way things are currently, and they wouldn't be too thrilled about him making a comeback. They didn't even need to be asked, but they made it clear that they prefer the family's current situation. Nonetheless, Vettel added that the decision would be discussed among the family, taking into account the performance of the car he would be driving. So, while the final decision lies with him, it is evident that his family's opinion and happiness are of great significance to him.